All right, I don't know if you can see me clearly. Welcome back to my home office. This is the Tuesday update for March 14th. So I've got some values that I want to throw your way and actual real estate updates for you all that are watching today. Hopefully make this brief. So if you've read my newsletters, I try to keep it more family friendly and things on the top there for families, but this has been coming across my feed across all of the things I've been processing over the last couple of weeks in terms of what the market is really doing nationwide. And there's a lot of videos out there that you will see that are gotcha journalism. That's kind of cliche to say, but just fear mongering. There's a lot of great marketing tactics and titles that are used that get you to click on those specific videos. And some of it has truth and some of it doesn't. But I wanted to actually boil down for you the real raw data so that then you can take that however you will for your own personal agendas in what you do. So I wanted to run an example by you financially, and don't mind the excited children you hear in the background of the video this morning. But I want to use a very straightforward mathematical example for you. So you've got $400,000. You're a buyer or seller, and you've got a home that's either worth $400,000 or you're purchasing $400,000 in 2020. If you purchased a home, $400,000 at 3%, at just a standard 3%, 30-year fixed mortgage, you'd be looking with all other things like points and stuff aside, you'd be looking at a $1,686 a month payment, $1,686 a month payment, $400,000, 3%. Okay, fast forward to now, 2023. Let's say, and this is where I want you to take into account all the things you've been hearing from economists and those gotcha videos and things like that. Let's say that the market does actually fall. Let's say that it does, and I believe that it is falling right now and will continue to slide. And let's say that it continues to slide all the way to 2008 numbers. So if you are a number guy like myself and you look back in 2008, you'll see that at the greatest from the peak to the slump, the greatest in the 2008 period of years, it fell 27%. Okay, 27%. So let's say that that's what's happening. Let's say that the market is doing that. Actually, what's happening right now is the market is falling faster than it did in 2008. It took a number of years for the market to slide that fast. And the same Case-Shiller index graph is falling at a rate over the last 6 months much steeper than it did in 2008. So let's just say that it falls all the way to 27%. And now that same $400,000 home then by that slump is really worth $292,000. That's a big slide. Well, let's just say 400,000 is now worth $292,000. Okay. And the rates right now, as I'm making this, are 7.42%, which seems really high to those of us that have just been purchasing in the last couple of years, but historically are still incredibly low rates. But let's say that the 7.42% actually does slide as well. We just heard that they're back up and they're probably going to go up again. But let's be positive here and think that the rates will go down to an even 5%. Okay. So the massive, the most crazy drop we've ever had in the housing market in human history, and the rates coming down. So a positive rate thing and a really horrible jump. Now that $292,000 at 5% over 30 years will give you a $1,586 a month, $1,586 a month monthly income. So that's $100 difference in savings. Okay. I want you to let that sink in for a second. $100 difference from if you had purchased, if you had a home in 2020 at $400,000 at 3%, is only $100 more than if things crash to the bottom and rates go down. You're only saving $100 on a $292,000 home at 5%. Okay, so we need to, this is mind-boggling to me, and I don't do a great job communicating that to all of you right now. And it's definitely better done with graphics and animation and things that I'm not capable of. I need to get my brother Steven to make me some sort of graphic chart that shows plummeting figures and, you know, this new baseline. But this is a new baseline. This is ridiculous in resetting the entire housing market. And here's the other part of that. A vast majority of people that are homeowners now are locked into staying homeowners for the foreseeable future, years for the foreseeable future, okay? Because you bought in 2020, 2021, 2019. You have an amazing rate that you're not going to sell out of and buy at a higher rate at a cheaper home, okay? The market is crashing. Market value wise, the rates are going up, and even if they drop, you're still purchasing at a higher rate for a less home. So a vast majority of folks are locked into not selling their home. Okay, so there's these two factors among many others in the marketplace right now that have totally reset the housing market baseline as we know it. But you're saying, where's Tim? Where's the hope? What are you telling me? Okay, that's the math. That's the unbiased, just the facts of things. And so I want to read through this to you and apologize ahead of time for reading it, but it's written better when I write things out than just speaking from my mind here. So I'm going to read this to you so that you can get an idea of what that looks like from a market perspective, but also what you can do as a buyer or as a seller. And keeping in mind, one, this is really only pertinent for folks that are financing. If you're a cash buyer, if you're a cash seller, if you're an investor, if second home, this is not a topic of discussion for you. And actually, there's a whole different playbook, if you will, for how that works. And if you're already an investor, you probably are already aware of that. If you're not, and you want to get into that game, you can always give me a call, 360-969-0669, or email me, tim.c.miller@outlook.com. I'd be happy to go over that side of the playbook with you for what the market's doing and how you can take advantage of that. But really, this is for those that are financing, either financing and then buying, or selling and having to finance and purchase somewhere else. So you've got that mathematical example in your mind. You've got the 2020 stats. 400,000 at 3% was $1,686 a month. Fast forward to today, that 400,000, even if it slides all the way to $292,000 and the rates come down, you're still at $1,586 a month. So it's only $100 difference a month. Okay. So if rates drop that 2.42% and values slide a whole 27%, then buyers will beat out the pre-2020 rates by $100 a month. If all remains the same, or rates drop, but values don't slide that far, or if rates remain the same or go up and values do slide that far, it doesn't help buyers get to pre-2020. This is a new baseline for the United States housing market. At the same time, this doesn't mean, this would traditionally mean that this is a seller's market, right? But at the same time, this doesn't mean sellers are in control. Home values are sliding. Okay, we know that. That's the only thing that matters to sellers, okay? Because as a seller, your question should be the timing of this slide. Okay, one, backing up, do you even need to sell? But two, if you do, then the timing. So that's really the question that matters, is the dollar net value you as a seller are going to make off of the sale of your home. Values are sliding faster than they did in the 2008 housing crisis. And the only thing a seller can do if they have to sell is to list their home for less than what the market will be in a month or longer as the prices continue declining. And that will help generate the excitement and get the few buyers that are still out there ready to purchase off the fence and into your home to purchase the home and compete for that, and give you hopefully multiple offers, instead of making it a stale home that you're seeing as you look on Zillow or Redfin or Compass or wherever you're looking at homes. You can tell, you all are smart shoppers, and you know if a house is sitting on there for weeks or months in a particular market, that something is wrong with that. So you don't, as a seller, you don't want to be that stale home. Okay, so this is a perfect storm. The amount of homeowners that are locked into this 2.5 to 3.5% rate pre-2021 and can't move is the largest group it's ever been in the United States. The sellers that want to or need to move are trying to do it quickly before values slide further. But they have to entice the buyers. You as sellers have to entice the buyers who are already few in number, as less people are selling and therefore becoming buyers, and who are faced with high rates and falling values. So you as a seller need to entice this already small, fearful group of buyers to buy your home in an ever-increasing supply marketplace as home remains on the market for longer. Okay, did you catch that? An ever-increasing supply marketplace. Traditionally, basic economics, low supply, high demand, you sellers are in control. But I want to point out a map of the United States and what we would call leading edge or sign markets, such as Las Vegas, Arizona, Southern California, and other places that show traditionally from the West Coast to the East Coast how the market resets. And it always seems to go that way. I can't think of a particular example where the East Coast has led a market housing slide, crisis, recession, whatever that is. It always seems to go from the West Coast to the East Coast. Okay, and so these trailing market, these leading market indicators are showing us that the market is resetting. As mentioned, and you can pull this up on your own study. The Case-Shiller Index is a great a place to find that. Another great example of things that I like to track is USPS forwarding data. How many people are moving out of a place and actually forwarding their addresses and legitimately moving versus buying second homes, or what we see on social media. Oh, Colorado's being flooded with Californians. Texas is being flooded with Californians. That's true, but that's not the whole story. There's a lot more social media and just nonsense drama about that than the actual numbers, which show most of them are just moving out of bigger cities like downtown San Francisco and into the Greater Valley areas, and staying within California. So there's a lot of the data that shows this, but the interesting one I was looking at was this West Coast to East Coast move, how the markets have already begun to reset in the last 6 months on the West Coast here where I am, and working their way towards the East Coast. So this is an ever increasing supply. Okay, again, you're looking on whatever platform you like to shop on, and you're looking in your market. I'm just going to use Austin, Texas as a good example of this. And you're seeing, wow, homes are staying on the market longer today than they were a few months ago. Okay, that means that your home is staying on longer. The neighbors down the road are putting their homes on longer. The market is increasing in the supply, and at the same time, that pool of buyers is small, right, and potentially shrinking. So it's not really beneficial to you, seller, in an attempt to just try to put it on there for the top dollar and hope that lasts, because it inevitably will be a long-term stale decision that will affect you and end up bringing that market value back down. Okay, so you're faced with this small group of buyers. At the same time, construction of new homes, while slowing, continues to add inventory, gasoline, to an already increasing inventory market, moving, as I mentioned, from West Coast to East Coast. So what's the hope? What's the good news here? The amount of buyers coming of age or in an age bracket to buy is the largest it's ever been in our history. At the same time, they continue to be capable of affording the monthly payments as tight and as high as they may be. Okay, so take a break from that for a second. Think about this. If you were around with me in 2008, when we started seeing foreclosures, it wasn't because people could no longer needed a place to live. It's because they could no longer afford those monthly payments, right? As high and ridiculous as these payments are today, people are still affording them. They're still making them on time. We're not seeing a level of foreclosures that's spiking like the rate we saw in 2008. So there's hope in that. One example of hope in that. Okay, along with this larger group of people that are millennials and millennial age that are coming into the marketplace to buy single family homes as they move forward and move up in age. So foreclosures are not increasing at the same time or at the same rate. People are able to make it work at the same time. People still need a place to live. This isn't forcing people to the streets. It's simply converting once qualified buyers now into renters. Did you catch that? Once qualified buyers into renters, so that it's a same group of people just sliding over into a different pool. So sellers, how are you capturing those renters, those buyers? If they're buyers and that's what you want to do, or that's what you need to do for work or whatever you need to do, you have to sell right now. How are you capturing that group of buyers? And or if you don't need to sell or you don't have to, and you can buy and use it as part of your portfolio income for qualifying on a new home wherever you're moving to, can you keep that home as a rental? All right, so also with this increased ability for remote or hybrid work, sellers don't need to sell at the rates we previously saw, and that may include you. I apologize, the video is blurry. The important thing here is this information. Okay, so how do you win? You collectively, how do you win? If you're a buyer, meaning you're actively looking to buy, do everything you can to lock in rates at better times. This may mean switching lenders to a lender that can lock you in previously to having a contract. Some lenders, a lot of them will only lock you into a rate once you're under contract, but there are mortgage brokers or lenders that will lock you in previously to having a contract. So if you need to take advantage of that, you don't already have a good rate, whatever you need to do, that's the number one thing you can do as a buyer, is locking in that rate. At the same time, if you can wait, do it. Home values are sliding. Hopefully rates will come down. Rent month to month. Take this time to vacation or travel, camp, stay at an Airbnb or VRBO. It sounds ridiculous, but this is the difference between literally hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month. Okay, buy later in the year if your rate cannot be locked in, or if you don't already have a good rate. If you are not financing, back to the cash buyers, wait. If you have a good rate now, buy before that rate expires. Buy down the rate if you can. Okay, that's an option that maybe you haven't thought about before, is buying down this rate. Why would I pay all this extra money to buy down the rate for the first couple of years? Well, that could help, because then rates fall. You can refinance at a cheaper rate. Lastly, consider asking the seller to offer seller financing or buy down the rate for you or pay your closing costs. So this is something that I've been talking a lot more to buyers and sellers on both sides of the specific contract, is sellers offer seller financing, offer an assumable rate. If you don't know what that means, email me or give me a call. You have traditionally, seller, a rate that's much lower than the buyers are going to get right now. You want to attract these buyers to your home, and buyers, you want to get this home, get a rate that is assumable at the seller's expense, and or have the seller, you can fork over a couple thousand to buy down this rate for the next couple of years, and it'll come out of the proceeds of your sale. So it's not out of your pocket up front. And that may attract multiple offers to your property, which will help meet your goals in the end run. So that's from the buyer's perspective. If you're a seller and you have to be, i.e., you don't have the choice to stay in your home, consider the option of keeping your home and renting it out adding that rental income to see if you can still qualify to purchase your new home. If you must sell and not rent it out, consider allowing your current interest rate to be assumable. Obviously, talk to your lender and your accountant to make sure that that works out financially, but having the assumable loan, as just mentioned, at a fantastic interest rate will attract top dollar for your home by multiple buyers. Okay, top dollar by multiple buyers. That's what every seller wants, right? Do that. It's not a hard process to do. It sounds convoluted. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody does it very often because unfortunately in the real estate game, it's a very low barrier to entry, and you have a lot of just salespeople that just want commission. Okay, look for a strategist. Look for somebody who truly cares about helping you get through this very stressful process, and do that. If you don't, here's a plug for my business. I matchmake clients around with actual professional real estate brokers and realtors around the nation, wherever you are locally. I get a referral fee from that agent, and you get someone who actually cares about you and can walk you through all of this stuff. Okay, that's a side plug for what I do as a real estate matchmaking broker. I'm a managing broker at Compass Real Estate, and I help people find other brokers across the United States. All right, so back to the sellers. Consider also carrying the note as seller's financing, as we discussed, at better than market rates. Being to offer an even 4% interest rate to the new buyer will attract top dollar and multiple offers, and may give you tax breaks as you realize your increase to your annual income year by year versus one massive gain in one sale. Lastly, if all else fails, make your home as turnkey as possible. List below the current market value to drive up that attention, and offer to pay the buyer's closing costs or even points down on their new loan. The incoming buyers will be stretched thin as it is. They don't have the money or the capability to fix up your home. Do it before you list it, and then offer these things for them. And oh, by the way, if you're a seller that doesn't have the funds up front, the capability to do that, some brokers offer this out of their pocket. Compass Real Estate, the #1 real estate brokerage in the US, the Uber of real estate, offers a program for everybody called Concierge. And this program comes in and pays for all of this up front and takes it out of the backside net proceeds. So if you don't have the funds to fix this stuff up yourself, or get it ready, or do your landscaping, or whatever it needs to be to get your home ready to sell, Compass Concierge. There's a plug for that right there. Do whatever you need to get many buyers paying top dollar for your home and avoiding being stale on the market. Lastly, remember that money and markets come and go. It is up for someone and down for another. What continues on, regardless of race, status, wealth, or anything else in this life, is time. This is my philosophical, get emotional part of the end of this video. Okay, time marches on for us all. In times of struggle and stress and suffering, one of the best things we can do when we're overwhelmed by this whole process and this market and the craziness in this is we can just step back and breathe. Okay, reevaluate other options and strategies that will help us reach our goals and focus on something or the someone that truly matters as time marches on. Okay, that I can't encourage you enough in that you don't have to sell and you don't have to buy. There may be one person that is watching this video that says, Tim, someone's holding a gun to my head and it's a matter of life or death. Okay, and I get that your job requires you to move, or that you're doing it for family, like a myriad of very, very, very important reasons. But if you don't have to, you won't lose out. And if you have to, there's ways to mitigate that risk. And I love teaching and talking through that. But the most important thing is remembering what's truly important here, and that's the time. Focusing on what is important around us, the who usually, rather than the what, is the most important thing I can leave with you in this video, is reevaluating that time spent with your family, with your loved ones all around you. And most importantly, remember, you've got this. If you ever feel alone, you've got me. Okay? Email questions any time of the day or night. I will get back to you as soon as possible. And I love helping and teaching. That is my why. That is my fulfillment, is helping people navigate through this, cut through the biases of what traditional real estate has always looked for us. and figure this out in a way that is beneficial and wonderful for you. Thanks again for watching another Tuesday Updates. And thanks again for putting up with this poor quality in video. Hopefully the information you received today makes up for that. Until next week.